How's it going, people? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the Forever Arsenal podcast. You know what it is already, people. Hit the like button. Make sure you're subscribed. Do all of that stuff that we tell you to do week in, week out. I'm going to save that all because we've got a lot to talk about today. As you can see, James is away. He's over in Italy, going to the Inter Milan game as well as seeing some family. So, James, hope you enjoy. But Stricto's in the bill. Have you ever done this, Stricto?
Yeah, I've done it a few times.
Okay.
I'm not. Man's not a virgin out here. I've been there. I've done.
Yeah, you're an
I've done
OG,
it a few
yeah?
times. I'm an OG. I'm an OG. OG
Say,
filler.
say no more. Come on. But yeah, obviously it could be better circumstances, but we're going to talk about that. Let them know your channel before we continue.
Yes, Stricto Strict on YouTube. So that's Stricto Strict. Can't go wrong. Can't miss me. Hit the subscribe and all of that and all of that.
Say no more. Say no more. Lee, I would ask you how you are. I already know. And
Yeah.
Jordan, likewise. You know, let's get into it, people. We've lost to Newcastle at St. James Park, 1-0, and we've fallen, behind further in the title race, if you call it a race this early, or top of the table, because that's what it is. Liverpool are now 8 points above us. Man City are 6 points above us. Is that right?
Seven.
No.
7 and 5.
Oh, 7 and 5. Sorry, it was a 2-point difference. Yeah, my bad. Liverpool 7 and Man City 5. But yeah, Lee, as always, I'm gonna start with you because you're at the at the games, and usually I start with atmosphere and all of that. And you know what? Let me start with that again because it was a big game. I called it our biggest game of the season, considering the situation we found ourselves going into it. What was the feeling like walking to the game, going up the steps? We know Newcastle away fans, you know, they put them up as high as possible.
Yeah.
Gives you a lot of time to think, talk. What was the feeling like? Excitement or nerves?
Do you know what? Excitement. I think when we see the team, I think most of us were excited. The fans, I think, going into the stadium. You know, Gabriel was playing. Ben White was on the bench, so you know he went with the team that, well, basically as strong as he could go without Odegaard. So there was a lot of there was a lot of excitement about going into there, like, you know, like. And also, we on the back of last season, I felt like, you know, the players were going to be up for it, and we put in a really good performance. How wrong we was. We played well for the first 10 minutes, but after that, unacceptable, pathetic performance. I have to say that, like, terrible decision from the manager. I think I have to blame. A lot of blame goes on to Mikel for the way he set the team up, because it just meant that the players didn't play as well as probably they should have done. You know, just so disappointed with what happened. I honestly think if we were still out there now, I don't think we'd have scored. Just didn't look like scoring. Didn't look like we was gonna. When we went a goal down, we weren't going to win the game. And then everybody at half time's going, right, we got to. The changes are coming. There'll be two changes now. Like, you know, on comes Wanyeri and on comes Ben White. We thought that was probably the two for Trossard and Marino. Comes out second half, and this is I'm not lying to you when I say this. When that team come out, there was no changes. The people around us, and I'm not going to mention the names because it's not fair. Turned around and said, "You know, we're not winning this game. It's done." And you just knew that it was, you know, I look at that team now and I don't see a team that can challenge for the title. I really don't. It might challenge for top four. You know, like, lads, if by this time next week, well, by next Sunday, going into that Chelsea game, we could actually be 9th in the league going into that game. You know, 8 points dropped in 3 games. And it's just, you know, I'm absolutely worried where we're going to get our goals from. Like, you know, Havertz. I've said it on my interview yesterday. Like, Havertz played everywhere but where he was meant to play, centre forward. You know, and if you haven't got a centre forward, lads, where do you expect to score goals from? Where there's that tactic yesterday look at it and Arteta go, do you know what? We're going to score goals here today. I just didn't. What he has been found wanting with these injuries. He really has. He really has. He's been found wanting. Just poor day. And after what went on last season, to walk out of that ground let down and disappointed by the team ain't acceptable, boys. It's not acceptable. Like, going all the way up there, like, I don't know if you know it, but they bumped up the train fares ridiculously overpriced. I think it was about some fans, I think, were saying that it was nearly £300 for train tickets up there and back for that game on a Sunday. You know what I mean? Like, that's, and then to turn out that sort of performance, I've been proud of the team over the last few years, but that was just unacceptable.
You know what? I'm gonna go around and then we're gonna get into it all because there's a lot to unpack from what you said because you've gone from bottom to top in terms of your analysis, and I wanted to cut you off a couple of times and chime in with my thoughts, but we don't want to go off on a tangent either. Jordan, you and me both predicted a draw. You started your prediction by saying you're worried about this one. Not the first time you said that, but this time it come out that the worry was correct, was right, was vindicated, I guess, with the performance and the result.
Well, my birthday started really well. I got up, I made my Jamaican breakfast, a little plantain, scrambled eggs, little hardo breads, little breadfruit, some seasoned beans, ate goods, got ready, had my hot lemon, got ready for the game at 12:30, put the TV on. I was like, it's going to be a good day today. It's going to be a good day today. And then we kicked off. We kicked off. And it all went south from there. I think Lee's used a really key word there in his analysis of the match. Unacceptable. I know Lee's more referring to the general day, paying for trains and that sort of thing. But the performance was unacceptable. And I'm bored of this kind of tone. I've used the word funk. Arsenal are in a bit of a funk right now. And that can happen, right? Every team can go for a period where you're just in a little bit of you can't get your groove. That can happen. But they need to get out of their funk very, very quickly because, Turkish, let me tell you, if they're not out of this title race already, they're getting to the point now where they're giving themselves so little room for error, they're going to soon be out of this title race. I don't personally think this season is going to be a 90-point accumulation that wins the title. I think this season it'll be high 80s, right? So if my projection is correct, we can probably concede another 8 points, I reckon, around 8 points. And we're only in bloody November. We are leaving ourselves in a position whereby we're going to have to do an absolute madness to just get back into the mix. I'm not having Liverpool. I know they're playing well right now and they're top of the league and all that. I'm not fully all in with Liverpool. I'm still looking at City as a team to catch. And even they're not in their groove yet. So I feel a little less dread-filled as I did now as I did after the game. After the game, I was like, it's done. It's just done. We're not playing well. It's just done. But I having thought about it a little bit more, I don't think it's done yet. But I do think we're entering that period now whereby if we don't turn this form around, like literally on the weekend, we're gonna play ourselves out of a race before the race even begins. The game itself was unacceptable. I thought it was a nothing game. It was a real nothing game. Nothing happened. We didn't do anything. We didn't create anything. Newcastle weren't even good, which is the kicker. We didn't lose to a Newcastle team that you're like, you know what, they were better than us and they outplayed us. They weren't even that good. But we're playing like a team that's feeling sorry for ourselves. We're playing like a team that's, injuries, suspensions, referees, difficult hard away games. Shut the hell up and get on with it. Because if you can get your players back in the next couple of weeks and we can just get to the point whereby, we get back into our groove, we can fire on again. But right now we are playing like a team that is feeling sorry for ourselves. And I'm just not here for it. I'm just not here for it. So on the game itself, for me, not acceptable. I don't think it's terminal, but I think we're now entering that period whereby if we're not careful, we're gonna play ourselves out of the title race. The only upside, sorry, before Stricto comes in, the only upside is that City haven't got going yet either. That is the only positive. City lost as well, and they haven't quite got going yet. But
That's a positive.
I've been saying for weeks, we can't look at City. Well, I'm clutching here, Turkish. I'm clutching. I said it weeks ago. We can't be looking at City. We got to handle our business. But if there's any possibility of hope, is that City are pulling away yet.
Stricto, welcome again. But yeah, talk to me. Was you at the game?
Nah. Usually with the Newcastle fixtures, when the fixture list comes out, I usually like book a flight. Because like Lee was touching on the train tickets, like it's actually cheaper to fly there. It's like 30 odd pounds, but I didn't do it this season. But the game itself, bro, like Jordan said, it was a nothing game, bro. Like, and even on my stream, I said it's a nothing game, but we've lost it. How'd you lose nothing? It's you know, it's crazy. And I even spoke about last season and how we lost there last season, and I was talking about how we shouldn't go there with, you know, our emotions at the forefront. You know, we should be able to have emotional management. Bro, I would have given everything to be emotional yesterday because there was nothing. That man didn't do nothing. You know, like the first, I don't know, 15 minutes we had control of the ball, but that was it. We didn't really create much. We depended on set pieces. We weren't trying nothing new. Even the set pieces became predictable. At a time I was even thinking, do you know what? Get Declan Rice in the mid, get Declan Rice in the box and let someone else swing it in because you know he's 6 foot plus. Because right now, you know, like we're just predictable, you know. And at the end of the day, you know, we are missing something, and I don't know what it is. Like, and that's the part that probably annoys me. Like, I can't put my finger on it. Like, what is different this season? Is it because we challenged all the way to the end last season, and maybe we've become fatigued? Is it the expectation at the start of the season when pundits have got us favourites to win the title? These are things that we haven't had to experience for a very, very long time in the last 20 years since Wenger was there. Do you know what I'm saying? This is all new to us now. You know, and when I think about it now, I think it might actually be a good thing that we've dropped back a little bit, because then that limelight and expectation of everyone has on us to win the league can sort of be focused somewhere else, and we can be the underdogs again. Do you know what I mean? But, you know, I think that's the sort of the positive, the only way I can kind of look at it, because this team haven't become bad overnight. Do you understand? They haven't become bad overnight. If you think about, we've got Timber, who didn't play the whole of last season. And if you'd have said maybe a component why we didn't get over the line last season is, you know, we didn't have someone like Timber. If you think about that Liverpool game at Anfield, where Zinchenko's let Salah come on his strong foot and score that goal, you think someone like Timber could defend better. You think, okay, Timber's back, but he's not even giving me anything, you know. And then you got Marino, who, you know, we saw what he done for Spain, but I couldn't even tell you what he's good at. You know, I don't know his purpose. Do you know what I mean? So there's a lot to sort of think of. There's a lot to touch on. But the main things for me is I really can't figure out why we're so disconnected as a team this season. You could argue about Odegaard not being there, but Odegaard wasn't there when we played Tottenham, when we played City away. We played fantastic. We played solid. We played as a unit, you know, and even those games would have you think this season is our season. You know, and then let me even add in another thing. You got Evra talking about Netflix and next season. I'd have thought this would have spur on the boys, like, to sort of have that mentality and that want to prove people wrong. But yesterday was crazy. Yesterday was the opposite of proving people wrong. It was proving people right.
Sorry, before you come in, Turkey, just quickly to answer, or to give an answer to Stricto's question, we can't work out why we're playing poorly. I think I know what it is. I think it's because we are not good at handling the pressure of winning a title. I think for the additions we've made in our squad, for the 2 good years we've had challenging, this was the season where people were genuinely saying, I've got Arsenal favourites. And if you look at games like City away, Spurs away, with all due respect, and this is my opinion, those aren't the games that win titles. Those are the games where I think we turn up to because it's quality v quality, it's big games. The games that win titles away at Bournemouth, away at Newcastle, they're the games for me that win you titles. It's beating everybody else. They're the games where we're expected to actually step up, show up, and win the game and accumulate the points. I think the reason we're struggling, there's tactical reasons, I'm sure, but ultimately we are wilting under the pressure of trying to win a title. We are wilting under the pressure and the expectation now. The last 2 years we weren't expected to win the title. This year we're expected, rightly or wrongly, we're expected to win the title, and the boys are just not handling it. They're not handling it. They're rather than flourishing and actually embracing it and saying this is our year, they're wilting.
And that's what I said. I think we could possibly benefit from that light that we have on us. You know, that everyone's watching us constantly, 24/7. Everyone's talking about us. You know, the press, the media. You know, everyone. You know, ex-players, pundits. Everyone has us as a favorite, and maybe, just maybe, we might just need to have that underdog feeling back again. You know,
But
like
But Stritzer, when does an underdog win the Premier League? How many times has an underdog won the Premier League?
It's a mentality shift. It's a mentality shift. It's not even necessarily saying we are underdogs per se, but that underdog mentality, you know, of like, you know, like you said, like, when was the last time anyone went into the season giving Arsenal or tipping Arsenal to even win the league? Do you know what I'm saying? I mean, when was the last time they even tipped us to come top four? Talk less of winning the league. So I think there's been a lot of light being put on the boys, and you're right, they're wilting under pressure. That might be it. They're wilting under the expectations. So maybe possibly what we can take from this defeat and how we've been playing over these last 3 games is, you know, less of the limelight and more of an underdog. That's all I can really take from that right now.
Yeah. Oh, mate. It's a shame because I know how this ends in May. You know, that's the biggest shame about it, because we're going to watch it unfold. It's going to continue to be a roller coaster. There's going to be peaks, troughs, highs, lows, all of that. But, you know, we haven't got a good enough squad. And all of a sudden now Arteta seems to be wary. Handbrake on. He just doesn't want to take the necessary risk needed. And, you know, at the start of the season, I mentioned his contract situation and what I thought of the transfer window. I mentioned what I thought of the transfer window a lot of times since. But when he signed that contract, it told me that, listen, you know, however this season unfolds, I think we're light. A lot of people think we're up. However this season unfolds, now you've signed that contract, it's on you. It's on you. And, you know, not playing Ranieri, I keep on saying it. I get it on one hand. It's a 17-year-old. But not playing Ranieri and seeing what we saw and then losing the game and falling 3 games behind Liverpool now, a couple behind City. A game week 10, we know how this ends. And I can't lie to you, it's upsetting because I look at Man City and I say to myself, they're there for the taking. You know, they are a good side. They've just lost their first game. You know, they've got one of their best players out for the season, but they don't look the same. You know, aside from Haaland, it looks like there's a lack of goals around the squad. You can get at them. They're leaking more chances than they ever have done before. But does that fill me with confidence? We can even add the charges that might come in. Right now, I don't. That's got nothing to do with us at this moment in time, because the team that benefit off of that, if that is to be the case, will be Liverpool, because they're putting themselves in the position. And my argument to that, Liverpool, I think, when you look at some of the experienced players who have been there and done that and can help guide some of the newer players or younger players or new manager through his first season, they're leaders. We don't have that. We've got a lot of yes men in the side. We've got a lot of nice players. We've got a lot of cogs. That's what I call it. We've got a lot of cogs. And we added a few more cogs in the summer. How many fucking cogs do we need? How many cogs are you going to keep on adding? Because all these cogs are malfunctioning at the moment, because we didn't need cogs in the summer. I said this on my match reaction. I'm going to say it again. We needed a player you can put your arm around and say, go and win us this league, son. We need a player that comes in and the rest of the team are like, yeah, we fell short the last 2 years, but this year we're going to do it. Calafiori don't do that. Marino don't do that. No one can tell me those two signings do that. Sterling, forget talking about him. We've wasted enough airtime on him already. It's 10 game weeks in. He doesn't trust him. Jorginho's coming on, we need a goal. Benjamin White's coming on, we need a goal. Zinchenko's coming on, we need a goal. Not the winger we brought in. I called it a side grade to Nelson. Some argued and said it's a downgrade. At this moment in time, I wouldn't argue against that. And then the Nwaneri thing is Smith. I don't want to go back to the transfer window, but I have to because no one else will. And that's what is causing what we're seeing now. Don't get it twisted. Arteta, listen, he's under pressure at this moment in time. He knows more than anyone. He needs to deliver. He needs to turn it around, and we need to turn that game on Sunday. Again, it's our biggest game of the season against Chelsea because of what we've done leading up to it. But the thing is, the next drop points is the nail in the coffin. We're in there. The fucking thing's on our heads. It's just a nail missing. That's all that's missing from this coffin. Yeah? Then we're thrown in. Another season. Dead. I'm sorry. We've got too many cogs. How is the player we all wanted, hoped would improve to score 20 goals this season? How is he being used as a utility man in 90 minutes? That's not all on him, by the way. I don't think he's a good enough striker. He's not a good enough striker because if you are a good enough striker, you will fucking be in the striker position. But that's not against him. We signed him. It's not his fault. He didn't say Arsenal come sign. We done that. But how can Arteta go into a season and now move our striker into positions that we know that he can win headers in? Cool. But when we need someone in the box, we haven't got it. Why? Because Odegaard's out. So one loss. We had one attacker out on the weekend. One attacker out on the weekend. One. And we didn't have anything to change it up. How? How have we left ourselves in this position again? I know the answers to it because we don't have that ambition to actually go cross the line. We don't have it. We might do it. We might do it. I don't think we'll do it this season, by the way. I'm just saying generally moving forward, you know, teams can win it without showing the necessary ambition because pieces can fit together well. Cogs can, you know, work well, and 2-2s, you've got a title. Cool. But we'll...
I think I understand what you're saying. I was saying this earlier on. Listen, Arteta's got us into a level that I never thought we'd get to 3-4 years ago. I never thought we'd ever be challenging for titles and going toe to toe with Man City. So he's done that well, and so he deserves the opportunity to see if he can see it through. And that's why I'm going to still continue to back him. But I've seen things over this last couple of weeks that have given me big question marks, and a lot of the fan base big question marks now, like, because it's easy managing a team when all your best players are playing. It's quite easy. But I go back to 2 years ago, we lost Saliba. He completely messed that up for I don't know how many weeks. Do you remember, like, you know, had to replace Saliba? He put in Holding, yeah, and then you know, changed it when it was too late. Now we've got the Odegaard situation. She's completely messed this up as well. Completely messed this up. Not so much against Tottenham and Man City. Do you know why? Because we wasn't those games. You're not actually, the teams are not going to sit back and defend. You know what I mean? They're going to come at you a little bit. So you didn't have to have that creativity. But once you're in a position now where teams are dropping off. You know, Newcastle dropped off yesterday and said, right, we're going to defend here, like, and that's the end of it. Like, you know, we're going to defend, and you come and break us down, and they just could not break us. We could not break them down, and you know, you sell. I am going to go back to the transfer window because you sell Smith Rowe, who's genuinely one of the replacements for Odegaard.
You'd think so. You'd think so.
Yeah, I think you'd think so. I don't think there's any argument about that. Like, no. So you sell him, and then you let Vieira go. Okay, I get with that. Then, and you say,
I don't get it, Lee. I
No.
I don't think we can say we get it. I think we allow it by saying we get it, because how have you signed this guy 2 years ago? You've let him go, but not replaced Emil Smith-Rowe. Why are you trying to turn him into a left winger 8? All of these things when he's a 10, and you could have kept him as a 10. I wanted him sold, by the way, because I didn't think he was of the adequate level or trusted enough. But replace.
Yeah, I get that, but like then you know you've got a 17-year-old kid doing the business. You know, you have to take, you know, you have to bite the bullet and go, yeah, I'm giving it to him, give him the opportunity. And
But Lee, what business is like? Listen, I like what Nwaneri is doing. I like it. I'm not, and people are just gonna, because people in this fan base, they can't take any form of opinion that might go against what they think, you know, and leave it. But Nwaneri hasn't. Like, Nwaneri's a good young player. He looks quality. He looks like he can be a gem. But we as a fan base all of a sudden are acting like this is the next coming of Fabregas, which applies more pressure on the kid's shoulders, which we as Arsenal Football Club shouldn't be doing.
I don't think we will, because at the end of the day, we're looking him. I'm looking at the moment at nothing other than a replacement for Odegaard. Odegaard's not there. You know what I mean? As soon as Odegaard's fit, you know, that's the 1 year he has to be patient again.
If that's what we're doing, we should have told Chido Obi, you know what, mate, we'll start you this season. If we don't care about age and all that, now that's a player that's banging in hat tricks for fun as a youngster. If we don't all of a sudden care about age, why didn't you keep the 15-year-old, 16-year-old striker we had and give him a chance? This is silly what I'm saying here now, but it's out of this world what we've left ourselves with, Lee. Like, I just don't understand how.
I get that, but what's messed it up even more is that I'll go back to last season. From January to the end of the season, we was outstanding. Why? Because Havertz was playing up top, scoring goals. Now, all of a sudden, yesterday, he's playing right wing in the middle. The one time it was his header that gets Saka through. Saka puts the ball through across the goal. There's no one there. No one there for, you know, to tap it in. Like, you know, one chance they had, puts a cross in. Where's their centre forward? 6 yards out, bang, goal, 1-0. So it's not just Odegaard being out. He took out an important cog, as you say. I'll use the word cog. An important cog, which was working up front to try and cater for this Odegaard fit. It's just not working. We've actually lost 2 players now out of it, like, because, you know, like I actually looked at Havertz yesterday, and I've watched a lot of football. I don't know what his role was yesterday. What was he? He certainly wasn't a centre forward. He certainly wasn't the false 9. He certainly wasn't a left winger or a right winger. But he played everywhere but up front as a centre forward. And then on top of that, you're asking Trossard to compete with 2 6'4" defenders.
Lee, both of them are substitutes. Trossard and Havertz are substitutes at best. They're substitutes. This is the fact.
I'll argue till the cows come home about Havertz.
This is the fact.
He was doing the business for us this season, last season, in that role. He's certainly not. But Turkish, I agree with you when you say. But last season he played midfield for 4 months. You know, from the beginning of the season until January. He never really he didn't really do anything by that. It was when he went up front or the false 9, right? You know, and I agree with you. Like, if you're going to play a false 9, he's the one. If you want to play a proper centre forward, he's not, right? But it didn't work last season, and you're doing it again this season, and you know it's not going to work. I just don't understand it. That yesterday was a shambles of a performance, a shambles. When did we went 1-0 down? And we never looked like scoring. He's bringing on players like Jesus, as you say, like, you know what I mean, like, didn't do nothing. Ben White was awful when he came on. What's Ben White doing at substitute? What is Thomas Partey at right back when you got 3 fullbacks on the bench? You've got 3 fullbacks on the bench and you're playing a midfield player out of position. I get it that he played there last week against Liverpool because we had no choice. He had choices yesterday. and he still choose to bring him in there. And he's the one that, you know, gets us going through the lines. How many times did you see Declan Rice and Marino run with the ball and then stop and look up, nothing on, look up, go sideways, look up, walk the ball, put their foot on it? Come on. You know, I mean, Thomas Partey gets the ball, he plays it through the lines quickly, and we're on the second phase of the game. I just think it was just tactically, you know, inept from us. And maybe that's why they played so bad, because of the tactics and all that. I've had enough of these tactics.
You know what, Lee? Yeah?
Enough of
You
them.
know what, Lee? As you were speaking, I just had a thought in my head that we almost play or set up like we're gonna have 10 men. It's so negative how we start. There's almost that thing of like, oh, we're gonna be under the cosh, we're gonna play over a man less. So Havertz, I'm gonna need you to be all over the pitch, you know, put in a graft, put in a shift. You know, it's almost that mentality where, like, because of, you know, these last few weeks, we've had those, you know, those sort of things go against us. So it's almost like that's how we're setting up now. That's our new personality now, is a 10 playing against 11 men with 10 men, you know, because there's no reason why Havertz should have to come on a right wing, go drop to a 10 and all of that stuff. No, okay, he's not the best number 9 in the world, but you've got a better chance of him scoring if he's playing forward, playing up top in a traditional sort of striker role, than you do have him fucking at right back or have him at right wing. What was that about? I don't understand. It's almost like that. Us being down to 10 men has creeped into the personality and creeped into the mentality of how we play going forward. It's a joke thing.
That's
he was on
what.
the toes of Saka. How many times was he on the toes of Saka yesterday?
It was.
If someone can work out those tactics and say to me, yeah, I can see what they're, you know what I mean, like, and convince me that it's the right way of going, then please do. But for me, I've watched it, you know, it's not, this is not me, by the way, if I could have gone home after 70 minutes yesterday, walked out of that ground, I would have done. I've never felt that for a very, very long while. I actually turned around to Jim. I said, what are we doing wasting our time? We might as well go home. The game's done. You know what I mean? Like, by the time we got down the stairs, it had been finished anyway. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but that's another story. But like, we was done. We was never gonna, you know, set pieces, as you say, like, you know, Stricto. Declan Rice never hit one decent cross all game. Is it a lack of form of players? You know what I mean? I've not seen Declan Rice have a poorer game, and if I'll be honest, and he was probably one of our better players.
But the thing is, sorry, Lee, on Declan Rice, I've heard a few people say they thought he was really poor. I didn't think Declan Rice was poor. You know, we seem to be struggling in that we're not going to score a goal unless we get a set piece or Saka does something magical. Those are the two ways in recent games that we're going to score a goal. Saka does something special because he can, or a set piece. I was looking for somebody else to try and step up. It can't be Saka all the time. The only person I thought, actually, I got the impression, was trying to grab the game to try and do something, I thought was Declan Rice. Now, he wasn't very successful at it, granted.
No, I agree with you.
There was a handful of times when Declan Rice, and I've always said this, on the ball, I think he's limited. He's limited. He's great positionally. He's great winning the ball back. He's a phenomenal athlete, and he's got a brilliant set piece in him as well. But the ball at his feet, he hasn't got that pass. But so he drives and he drives. And as you said, he did it 3 or 4 times where he drove.
Yeah. Unlucky with one.
I don't blame him for that, because
no,
he's not De Bruyne. He's not going to let off 25 into the top corner. But I thought the criticism that he got was a bit harsh. The missed chance at the end was a shocker. That was a shocker. He's got to score that. He's got to score that chance right at the end. But apart from that,
that's great.
That was great. Yeah, I really enjoyed that. He's right. I felt that Declan Rice wasn't as bad as what everybody's making, but it's still not a Declan Rice of last season, Turkish. He's nowhere near at the level of last season.
I mean, last season, you know, he came into the team. It was the marquee signing. Oh, he's back. Yeah, you want to carry on, Jordan?
Sorry, guys. Sorry. Well, I think what you were just saying there, Stricto, is important as well. Declan Rice is still our marquee signing, and although I don't think he was the worst player by a mile on the pitch on the weekend, he hasn't played well this season. Generally, we need more from him. The other point I wanted to make was more about. It's kind of adding to my initial point, which is. Right. So I look at the Premier League title race. It's like the Grand National, right? The first between the start of the season and Christmas, it's about just stay in the pack. Stay in the pack, right? Just stay in the pack, stay in the pack. You haven't got to be top or second, even third. Just stay in the pack. You need to be within 5 points of City come Christmas, in my opinion. Any more, you're struggling. If we can just get through this next couple of months and get some results out, get our players back and get into our groove, I genuinely think we will be okay. We'll get to Chelsea in a second, I'm sure.
Wake up.
But I'm worried about the Chelsea game.
Wake up. Jordan, wake up.
I know what you're saying. I know. I think
Wake
it's done
up.
too, Turkish. I think it's done. I think
Who have you seen catch City 5 points behind?
But like I said earlier on, the only reason I've got a smidgen of hope is that they're not in their groove yet either. If I was to put my house on it right now, Turkish, to win the title, I'll put it on Manchester City. Tried and trusted, been the course, done it, got the players, got the t-shirt, done it. I'm just trying to look at some kind of sliver of reason as to why come May we win the title. On the back of losing to Fulham last year, on the pod, I said title's over. We're out the race. We then did a madness. If I think it was only City and Villa, we dropped points from that point. We've got to do something similar from here on in. Now, do we have the personnel and the manpower to do that? Maybe not. Maybe we don't have it enough to do it a second time. But I don't think it's quite done yet. I think if we don't win on the weekend, I think it is then done. And my final point would be, it does annoy me, though, to your point, Touch, when people say, oh, it's only November. October. You can't be at the race in October. Yeah, you can. Reasons that I think you're alluding to. We know City when they flex, when they go into second gear, third gear, before you know it, you're 9 points behind. They're not going to drop 9 points. So whilst I totally understand what you're saying, Turkish, about being realistic and where we are, to go from how we're playing right now to putting a run together of 10 wins on the trot just looks like a madness. I just can't see it. But I do think if we can somehow dig deep, other players beyond Saka can step up and we can dig out a few results, get a few players back. Before you know it, okay, players are back. Let's get into our groove. We're only 6 points behind City. Let's go.
Smidgen. I don't know where anyone can get that from right now. I'll tell you that. Because I'm telling you now, we ain't winning the Premier League. Yeah, we ain't winning it. Our hopes rest in other competition right now. We fucked up in August and July and June and May and April because the lack of planning for this window we've just seen, has led to this. I will never stop talking about this because far too often in my life I've seen windows go past and be forgotten about. And this ownership and this club and Wenger get away with it year after year after year after year. Big credit to Mikel. He took over. He brought us back to in contention. He brought us back to this expectation. He told us the level is we need to start winning stuff. I tell you what, you're not going to overtake Man City promoting a 17-year-old, bringing in Calafiori, Marino, and Raheem fucking Sterling. And that's what we did. So your smidgen of hope, it will be extinguished real soon, Jordan. It will be. Yeah? Inter Milan. What's going on there? I need to get my charger from my MacBook.
Inter Milan, boy.
I think that game, we had an honest assessment against Newcastle yesterday because we didn't get to see a red card, we didn't get to see a VAR decision or a refereeing error or any of that. We had a real honest assessment of where the team is this season. And right now it feels like, we're imagine like a boxing match where one fighter he's still hanging on, but he's basically getting battered every round, and he just needs that second win. And I think that's where we're at now in terms of confidence, like if we get the stuffing knocked out of us against Inter Milan, I can't see us recovering mentally. I think that will be it. So the Inter Milan game needs to be, nothing less than a win, to be honest with you. And even a good performance, I'd even say. Forget the win. I think a good performance would be good, because that would take us even, that would have a great effect on our season going forward. So not even just a win, a good performance where everyone who's been chosen, everyone who's gone on that flight today or whatever the fuck they flew, everyone is standing up and everyone's taking accountability. You mentioned Declan Rice yesterday, on Jordan. I saw bits where he was taking it personal. He was moving us up the field. He was trying to make something happen, but he just couldn't go on his own. He's only one man, and plus that's not his game, So I need to see that from all of the boys tomorrow. I need to see defensive responsibility. I need to see midfielders creating and midfielders defending. I need to see forwards striking and attacking. That's what I need to see. I need to see it from everyone. Do you know what I'm saying? I need to see it from everyone. Not because I think we're going to win the Champions League, but I think our mentality for the season going forward in the Premier League will lie in Italy, will lie in Milan. Will really set what our season is about. Do you know what I'm saying? So, that Milan game is crucial. It is crucial. Every game for us going forward is crucial. But for me, for the mentality and and the confidence of the team, we need to have a big team performance.
I don't think we're getting it.
I think it's one of the few games. Go on, Lee. Go on.
No, I don't think we're getting in Milan. Does anybody fancy us winning in Milan?
No.
Do anybody fancy us winning against Chelsea?
Lee, we have to do that. If we don't, if we lose to Chelsea, yeah. If you're sensitive of hearing criticism about Arsenal, do not tune into next Monday's show. I'm gonna be real with you. I'm gonna be real.
I agree. Yeah, we'd be ninth come this time next week if we lose to Chelsea. No, that's unacceptable. That's unacceptable. That would be ninth going into an international break, where
that is crazy. Ninth. That is.
It's already crazy. Man United are 6 points behind us. We're closer to Man United in 12th than Liverpool in first. It's already crazy. People are not deep in how crazy we're closer to 12th than first right now. How?
I hear it, Turkish, yeah, but I think to actually see it, to actually look at it, but I can't even tell you where we are at the table. I stopped looking at the table.
Fifth, Chelsea overtook us.
Oh, well, fifth. Okay, here we are. Like losing to Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, considering all the good work we've done there over the last few seasons, would be crazy. And then ending up possibly being ninth is honestly, that would be every stone that Arteta used to build a bridge would be destroyed at the bridge, literally, because what the fuck? Like, what the fuck?
Structure, like, I know this is how bad it is, and it is bad. Like, you know what I mean? There's been a lot of talk about Tottenham Hotspur and Ange being sacked this year. He's not going to get him and all that. Like, before we go out at Stamford Bridge, they will be above us. I know we'll have a game in hand, but they will be above us. You cannot. They're talking about having a crisis there a few weeks ago. And the fact of the matter is, as crap as Spurs are at times, they have a poor result like they did last week, and they get on the bike and they get back on track. We have a bad result, and it lingers on for another game and another game after that. That is the unacceptable thing for me. Is that I see Spurs lose to Crystal Palace, and then go and beat Man City, and they go and beat Aston Villa. By the way, are two decent teams. We lose to Bournemouth, What's our last win was Preston at Preston. You know, we're on a run here. Like you cannot have these runs no more, guys. If you're going to want titles and you're going to want this, you've got. If you have a bad result, you've got to then go like back it up, win, and we're not.
Do you think we are capable of putting at least a 3-game run in the league together? Like, could you see that happening? Do you think?
I do think that we are, but as we've alluded to in the past, we've gone and beat Southampton and Leicester. We struggled in those games. You know, I look at what we've got coming up after the international break. We've got Nottingham Forest, and not Nottingham Forest of 2 years ago and last year. They're third and fourth in the league. Then after that, we've got Man United, who are going to be like a completely different animal to what they've got then. Then you go to West Ham. I don't know what's going on with West Ham, but like, you know, you know, they're on a bad run. But let's not get it right. Newcastle hadn't won in 5 Premier League games. You know, we'll probably go to West Ham and won't do nothing if we carry on the way we're going. And it's not right with the players that we've got. Look at the goals we're conceding at the moment.
Yeah, that's the
You know
worry.
what I mean? Someone told me today, Man United have conceded the same amount of goals against the best team, best defence in Europe. It ain't, is it? Because we keep conceding goals all the time. You know, and maybe because of the pressure of what we're doing. Like, you know, I just think it's, you know, I really worry about our next. I don't know when we're going to win again, boys. The way we're playing, I do not know when we're going to win again.
I think Strick told me the point earlier, which is kind of valid. I think this is one of the few games where a performance is more important than the result. I think we need to see us go to Italy, and I need to see my defenders keep a clean sheet. I need to see my wingers beat their man. I need to see my midfielders creating full period. I need to see Havertz causing havoc in the box. I need to see us perform well. I don't think, apart from City, where under certain circumstances, I've not seen my team this season perform well. I haven't. Paris, all right, maybe the Paris game as well. I've not seen a performance from my team. I need to see my team go to Italy this week and perform. If you get a draw, worst case, all right, cool. But I've seen my team play well, because if we don't perform well, Inter are not crap. Inter are not crap, but I need to see a performance, because right now we're just not seeing performances. Liverpool, I thought everyone said in the first half we were excellent. No, we wasn't. Preston, all right, that doesn't really count. It's a League Cup game, rotated game. I'm just not seeing performances. So for me, I'm looking for my team to actually give me a performance this season. Otherwise, it will linger on into the weekend. And as Turkey said, get the nail out, because that will probably be, you know, Chelsea aren't rubbish. Chelsea aren't great, but they're not rubbish, and they're at home.
They're better than Newcastle. They're better than Newcastle. They're better than Bournemouth.
They would love to end our season, Lee. They would love it. They're going to be bang up for that. So just give me a performance. That's what I'm looking for in midweek. Just give me a performance. Yeah. Show me you guys can actually step this up and do something. Because right now, yeah, the faith is low. The faith is low.
We know, yeah. Us fans now, we need a boost. We need I need a pick me up. I'm not being all. The team and the players have got to pick me up as a fan now, and I'm pretty sure there's more other fans like that as well. Like, I've been kicks and bashed about with the results against Bournemouth and Newcastle, and I've lost confidence in my team at this moment in time. I need to get my confidence back with the team and restored. I know they can do it, and I'm willing them to do it, like, you know. But I need that now. I need them to go to Inter Milan and produce. But you know, for me, they've got to go to Chelsea and win.
Oh, mate, this club, we're at the title race soon enough for everyone will know that, and then there'll be a surge in performances, and then it'll be the good old Wenger. The form we showed towards the end of the season, if we can carry that on to next season, then, you know, we might win the league, and then round it goes. Yeah? Just predictions. Let me get the table up. This is the table, how it was looking before I reviewed the comments and decided what punishment I take for the panel, considering Lee judges had to stay up 24 hours. I've taken a point off everyone. So there you go, Lee. No one can say I'm not fair, right?
Fair. Most of the comments were saying that. So, you know, yeah, I think that's fair.
I'm fair. I'm a fair man. I don't mess about.
I can't believe that the other two have got the same punishment, but there you go, like, you know what I mean? So,
yeah, are you there, lawyer?
no, I'm not their lawyer.
This is disgrace.
Now it's just me that should get the punishment.
No. I went through the comments, and there were most of the comments were saying a point deducted for all three. There's what that was.
Why don't we just keep our points, but you get an extra point?
Same thing, though, isn't it?
That would sound better, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Same thing, though. That means it's the same table with everyone an extra point then.
Yeah, it makes it look better.
Jordan's never hit these heights before. He wants every point he can get.
Love me.
I've got James's prediction here. He's number one. So, as always, we start with James, and I'm gonna quote him. I've got over it. I've seen the light. We're gonna be fucking back. I believe 2-1 Arsenal. I don't know if the Milan weather's got to him already. He's only been there a few hours, but he has got family there.
On your head, son.
Yeah. Stricto, let's get yours before we go around the rest of the panel. Well, what's your prediction for the Inter Milan game?
There's going to be a draw. There's going to be a draw. I think there's going to be a 1-0 sort of thing.
Yeah, fair enough. Jordan.
2-1 Inter.
Okay, 2-1 Inter. I think that's the first loss anyone's predicted against Arsenal this season, if I'm not mistaken. But I understand. Lee.
0-0.
2-1 Arsenal from James, and so far from the panel, 1-1, 2-1 Inter, and 0-0. And this Inter ain't a joke. I mean, they've started the season well. I think they're behind Napoli, but Thuram scoring, Martinez is scoring. We're struggling to score. Honestly, Inter Milan 2-1 Inter as well.
Wow.
2-1 Inter.
Not surprised.
Yeah, I don't want to predict it, but bro, I don't know. Honestly,
listen, when I predict a draw, I think that we're going to lose.
I hear you. I do that a lot as well. I did this time. I was going to say 1-1 this time, and I said they need to show me something. That's the predictions, people. Let us know yours. Obviously, AFTV Plus app. You can join us in the Fourever Predictor. But we're going to wrap up with comments of the day as well. So, Stricto aside, everyone ready with comments of the day? Or
you know what? The comments were actually really, really good this week. There was lots, but I'm not by my laptop, so I actually don't have them to hand. So I'm going to read them all next week's on the next pod. Sorry, I'm going to double up if my fellow panelists will allow.
I've got a couple, so I can get as far through on this one.
Cheers,
I thought this was a funny one. Is this the housewives of Islington? Like, you know what I mean? I thought that was quite because we was going on about it. Lee, you know why you go on about wanting Arsenal to win differently? Because we're all different people. Lee gave us the most simple but most important piece of logic. That is, on current social media generation, doesn't seem to get it. Big up, Turkish. Continue being honest and being yourself. You guys are loved exactly for being yourselves.
That's a lovely comment. Lovely comment.
That is a nice comment. I've got one here from. Let me just see the. I got the name there. Debashish is the name. And they said, as far-fetched as it may sound, Nwaneri reminds me of Messi. He does go on, but we're going to end it there.